White House are in a full-scale panic after Democrats on the House Oversight Committee released a provocative document from Jeffrey Epstein's 2003 birthday book, provided to them by the Epstein estate after a subpoena. And now, well, after Donald Trump had previously insisted it did not exist, he's confronted with the real thing, with his dismissive claim of it all being a hoax, which again is ironic considering Mike Johnson threw him in hot water, suggesting he was an FBI informant.
And he's not saying that what Epstein did is a hoax. It's a terrible, unspeakable evil. He believes that himself. When he first heard the rumor, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. He was an FBI informant to try to take this stuff down. The president knows and has great sympathy for the women who suffer these unspeakable harms. It's detestable to him. He and I have spoken about this as recently as 24 hours ago.
Why would he be an informant over a hoax? But anyway, it's all colliding with a hard dose of reality.
Yeah. Do you think that drawing, I think I heard you say something the other day, that the drawing that was the subject of the Wall Street Journal report.
I don't do drawings. I'm not a drawing person.
You think it was fraudulent?
I don't do drawings. Sometimes people say, would you draw a building? And I'll draw 4 lines and a little roof, for a charity stuff. But I'm not a drawing person. I don't do drawings of women, that I can tell you. They say there's a drawing of a woman, and I don't do drawings of women.
One thing about this is, I presume someone who is expert can look at signatures and make these judgments. But secondly, it's a weird thing. What year was this?
That's a great question. It was like about 20 years ago.
20 years ago. So 20 years ago, someone stuck this fraudulent piece in Jeffrey Epstein's birthday book. That seems like a weird thing. Someone who said, you know what, I think Donald Trump might be president someday. Let's just stick this in Jeffrey Epstein's birthday book.
The House Oversight Committee released a letter purportedly from Donald Trump to Epstein, complete with a crude illustration and the message, quote, "Happy birthday, may every day be another wonderful secret." So weird, so creepy, but Trump denied ever authoring it, denied the language, and even denied drawing or liking to draw, despite the fact that he's sold doodles at auctions. But anyway, and as we know, he sued the Wall Street Journal for defamation over their reporting on this matter. And well, now Rupert Murdoch's Wall Street Journal has said, all right, bet. And in a battle of the racist billionaires, they just went ahead and published the actual images of the letter, effectively saying F you to Trump's defense.
There's a couple things going on here. Many people look at this and go, on its face, it looks like it was handled at least incompetently, if not corruptly, from day one, regardless of leadership. And they want answers because there are real victims who we will probably never know much about because they signed NDAs and because very powerful people were involved. And also, there was an easy answer for the Trump administration here, which was Ghislaine Maxwell is appealing. We cannot release anything while that is ongoing, right? I think that would have been the clean answer. Now they're in this situation where a bunch of people are deeply invested in this particular story, which there may be plenty more too, as a decoder ring for all that is corrupt in government. And if they don't get answers on that, they'll be very mad. Here's the other thing, though. There's a large portion of that portion of the base that will listen to Trump when he gives them an answer on this. And the question is, how politically salient is that?
And now, with the letter public complete with Trump's familiar stylized signature, the most staunch of MAGA supporters, the ones that haven't yet fled the coup, they're denying its legitimacy regarding the signature on the letter, only to have those claims debunked as the labeled Donald matches countless authenticated Trump handwritings sold at auctions and letters sent around that time.
On this one in particular, it is true that it's not known that Donald Trump was bawdy, but there is this mythos that Will could talk about for sure on the right, on some on the MAGA right and the QAnon right, that Trump was like fighting against, the elite pedophile rings out there, and that he was, some warrior on the inside who was going to expose all these people. And now here he is, not only not exposing them all, but writing this note to Epstein here that is just extremely familiar, right? Like it's one thing. It is true that famous people sometimes sign birthday cards for people or sign generic notes for people. That is not what we're seeing here. I mean, we have this drawing of what appears to be a young woman, I would say, and Donald Trump talking about how they share certain things in common, about how they have all these wonderful secrets together. I mean, it's a letter from two guys that get in trouble together and have a bromance. That's what this is. It's not some generic letter. And so I think that's why they probably are more sensitive about it, because it's not as if it's just two famous people getting their picture together at another famous person's party.
Yeah,
it's more intimate.
I hear you on that. But
speaking of MAGA propagandists, right? Karoline Leavitt dismissed the letter as fake and Democrat propaganda. My God, hilarious. She is talking about propaganda, folks. Now, she said Trump never wrote it and blasted the release as a smear attempt. In short, the signature looks like his. The words are there in print, but the official line is still deny, deny, deny.
That's insane that they're just being like, yeah, no, everything was cool, above board, don't worry.
It's like Trump dog.
Yeah.
It's tough not to fucking point some fingers.
Huge question.
You got
mark.
killed while you were president.
Yeah.
And you were there. There's so many photos of them chilling.
Allegedly hung with his staff.
I know.
Allegedly hung with his staff.
The cope on Trump's innocent. The cope is fucking pretty intense. Yeah, he did go to the island and he just hung out with the staff, dude. The staff said that. Was the staff 12?
I know. Who knew John
I think
McAfee?
everyone was hanging out with the staff.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
The president doesn't want you to focus on things such as his involvement with the Epstein files. You see, the president doesn't want you to focus on things that he promised on the campaign trail, such as to lower costs for the American people. The president doesn't want you to focus on his failed Secretary of HHS and the fact that we know almost 100 children thus far have died from something like measles. He doesn't want you to focus on the things that truly matter to the American people that are trying to survive now. Instead, again, he wants to divide and distract.
I mean, this isn't a minor misquote, folks. It's a tangible, hand-drawn artifact that challenges Trump's claims throughout this whole ordeal. I mean, when a document with his name and signature is confirmed real and he claimed it never existed, it's more than politics. It's again him being found out to be a liar, especially when it involves a known pedophile who trafficked underage girls.
Every one of those 28 questions got a flow of nonsensical gibberish from Donald Trump that included lies. And so the White House press corps is failing before our eyes. Every chance they get to question Donald Trump, every time they fail to pursue the only president in history who had a best friend for 10 years who was raping children nearly every day of those 10 years. Donald Trump's own Justice Department, which he now owns and operates, has said that Jeffrey Epstein raped over 1,000 victims. 1,000. More than 1,000. They don't know how many. They don't know how many thousands of children Jeffrey Epstein may have raped. And most of the White House press corps does not care. Nothing can make them care. Most of the White House press corps has no idea what any of those victims of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell have said under oath about what happened to them. We are watching the worst president in history manipulate the worst White House press corps in history every day.
Hence the whole bipartisan push to unveil every detail of this sick situation.
There have been survivors of Jeffrey Epstein speaking at a press conference on Capitol Hill. They're calling for these case files, these documents to be released. And Thomas Massie, who was sponsoring a discharge position to get the House to vote on releasing those documents, says he doesn't believe you're implicated in these files, but many of your friends and donors may be, and he says that's why the Justice Department is redacting them and slow-walking the release. Is the Justice Department protecting any friends or donors, sir?
So this is a Democrat hoax that never ends. You know, it reminds me a little of the Kennedy situation. We gave him everything over and over again, more and more and more, and nobody's ever satisfied.
Today he called it a hoax. While these women were speaking out and they were saying, we're not a hoax, we're human beings. And I think we need to see something turn around there.
You know,
and I'll say this, Eric.
He can prove it's a hoax by releasing it. Let us decide if it's a hoax or not. I mean,
I think anything anybody wants to see is the list. We want to see the list, period. I don't care what names are on it. I want to see what names are on it and what.
Again, as more questions are asked about this and Republicans are faced with the question of whether or not they believe that this letter actually existed or not, despite it being subpoenaed from the Epstein estate, what will they do in return? Will they finally join ranks with Democrats and unveil the entirety of the Epstein files? Or will they continue to deflect, deny, and hope that it goes away, which we all know it's not.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.